local forums. We discussed about experience in Jakarta, in Indonesia. Also some experience about translating policy in a simple understanding languages. Sometimes we assume that because people are from the government, they understand the policies, which are sometimes very complex and legal documents. And when it comes down to a subnational level, it might be a good way to translate it. There was some experience shared around having DR laws in comics that can be used by local authorities to be more understanding what is meant by the national laws that have been enacted at the national level. And then moving a bit on the accountability, we discussed around if we want to be a kind of model and walking the talk, how much are we transparent to our partners, how much do we share our budgets, our plans of action with the local partners and the local governments, because it's one of the key elements also to make them aware of how much DR costs and how does it work and how do we make it happen. So I think that was more the missing point, and actions is not, no, we have actions. And then we try to find concrete actions. Should I continue?
Please continue.
Okay. So we try to find actions that are a bit common to everyone, because of course a lot of things can be national, can be, I mean, specific to countries, but we think that promoting champions is something that we have heard a lot, both at community level, local level, looking at incentives in terms of trainings, in terms of rewards, awards. This can work quite well to promote the DR. Also about capacity building among practitioners and advocacy. We recognize that advocacy needs specific skills. I mean, in Red Cross we talk about humanitarian diplomacy, but sometimes we are very good into working with grassroots level community, but we are less comfortable talking to ministers or parliamentarians. And we have to recognize that some organizations are better positioned to do this than others in terms of their mandate, their skills. And so I think first we should invest on skill building for practitioners on how to do advocacy at different levels. And then the second one that also learning from Gianni and the different discussions we had was around identifying lead agency or lead actor that can work on advocacy and linking the evidence from the field to the complex legal, national or subnational processes. And then to support this also, something we discussed was around how we can document the evidence in a more systematic way, and how we can disseminate it and share it a bit more wider than only the DR people, and a bit also more systematic. And the last one is that it could be contradictory, but it's not actually. But so yes, we need to have leaders for advocacy, but at the same time, we should all include advocacy in our programs. We think that advocacy is a shared responsibility, that any program, whatever the level, should incorporate some advocacy work. Although, at the same time, we should have leaders or champions that can actually relay messages for the community of practitioners. Anything you want to add from your group? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any quick things to add before we move on to the next group? Okay, great. Anyone wants to volunteer to go next? Okay, so we'll just go to group 2.